All right, Panther fans. So the day we've all been waiting for. That's it. The season is over. Sam Reinhart has signed his contract. There's nothing else to talk about, nothing left to talk about. We've already won the cup. It's over. I'm pretty sure my guest Stu is going to have a little bit of a different opinion. Stu, Stu is so ready to do this, you guys. We are filming this before noon. And anybody that knows me personally knows that only God himself or Fluffy can get me moving before noon. And now you have to throw Stu into that mix. So Stu, take it away. Stu, this is Stu's video and I'm going to react.
Hey, good to be with you, Eric, and
How you
everybody.
doing?
So it's just wild how for the last 2-3 weeks, everybody's been like, I guess nothing's going on this summer. So somebody had to start drama and, Reinhart, when is he signing? I think it's like Bennett didn't sign the same day. So,
Yeah,
I leave it, I have 100%, faith and confidence that he was going to get the deal done. And it's what we said, 6.5 to 7 mil.
yeah,
We were
no.
both saying. I was surprised it was only 3 years. But Zito's handing out 3-year contracts. I mean, we got Reinhart in the prime of his career, as we do most of the other players. And I guess, he's going to put up some numbers. And then once this contract's over, he's going to look for the big bucks.
I hadn't thought about it because you mentioned now he's handing out 3-year contracts, which is interesting. When you consider if, and this is totally unauthorized content here, but if after we kept Bob for 2 more seasons, and then we actually did that stupid thing by buying him out, the massive hit would come after all these 3-year contracts are over. So I continue to believe that he's handing out contracts with an eye to Bob eventually not being here. And this contract here, I mean, I know once we heard it was between 6 and 7, we kind of figured, okay, like 6.5. But for I'll throw myself under the bus. All of these contracts have been $500,000 more than what I initially thought. And those $500,000 are going to add up. And I can't get that out of my head where I just like, he's handing out that extra money. Like he knows that 10 million is not going to be there for forever. And that's a story for a couple of years down the road. But like you said, there's a method to his madness. And I think he's putting all the Jenga pieces together, put it that way.
Well, he's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, there's no complaints whatsoever at all with what he's done.
I mean, just again, looking at the fact that we now have the top 3 draft picks from the Ekblad draft, is just 3 out of the top 4 is just crazy.
Oh, I know. And when you think about it in terms of what we've done with some of our own picks in the past, I mean, the number ones that we don't have that were our number ones, Bugstad is gone. Lawson Krause is gone.
Branson. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on.
Quentin Howden, was he a first round pick?
I believe he was.
I believe he was the 3rd one that year, right? And yeah, so I mean,
I don't know. All I know is it's a moot point. It's the past.
Right. Well, but I just mean in the sense of like, we got rid of our own first round picks and took other people's first round picks.
You mean the trading down twice that we did?
Well, yeah.
We gave up the chance to get Fleury, and that's because we had Luongo.
Right.
And then we traded down, and Columbus took Rick Nash.
Right.
And we took Bouwmeester. So all I know is, as we said in the last video, on paper, this is a Stanley Cup winning team.
Yeah. And I've not been that aggressive because I don't want to get too much fruit thrown at me. But what I've said is I anything less than the Eastern Conference Finals, making it for this team, anything less than that is a disappointment. Obviously, if they don't win a playoff round, that's a massive disappointment. And you get to the second round of the playoffs. I mean, the only way I would accept the loss in the second round of the playoffs is if you're talking like some game 7 triple overtime thing where Knight has proven himself to be a goaltender that can take us, all the way. Other than that, this roster, you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, Tampa and maybe the Islanders are the only teams that I would look at where, like, if we went into a 7-game series against any other teams right now, I'd feel completely confident. You know what I mean?
There's no reason not to think we can't win this. We can't win the division.
Right.
I listen. Billy put it. He put it like straight on. The Panthers, they got pretty bruised losing that series to Tampa.
Right.
And they're going to carry that with them, that disappointment.
Right.
Because I think they know, and we know, that we could have beaten Tampa. That first game goes our way.
Right.
Who knows?
Right. Well, especially again, like we've talked about with the healthy Ekblad.
Yeah. So I know you wanted, I think, I was just going to add, I think the Panthers are going into the season with a chip on their shoulder. I'm really glad that we have the same, players, and that we picked up a really, really good player that could, with the team we have, don't forget, he scored 25 goals in Buffalo.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
This is a guy that's
so I'm looking at this kid getting at least 30 goals.
Yeah, well,
I'll make that that bold prediction because it's a full season.
Yeah.
So I guess what I wanted to do was just run down these line combos and possibilities. I mean, again, a lot of puzzle pieces, and I was talking to George last night, and he said, pretty much what we've said, and that is that Barkov and Verhaeghe and Huberdeau and Bennett are pretty much set.
Right.
So it's who's going to be on the right wing on the right line.
Exactly.
So, and again, Reinhart's versatility. I mean, he could always, he could play center, but I don't know. Do we? I mean, what I have down here is Barkov, Verhaeghe, and Reinhart.
Yeah.
And then Huberdeau, Bennett, and Duclair. And I only have that down because
you want to troll me about
the Huberdeau, Bennett, and Duclair line. They've already played with each other.
Right.
But then again, Duclair's played with Barkov and Verhaeghe. So I guess Q's gonna, I guess both Q and Zito and the coaching staff, they're gonna, look and see who's got the better chemistry. I mean, Q could always shuffle his lines.
Well, that's my thought, especially with Duclair. My thought was, I forget where I said this. It was in a different video. That I felt like, I did a video with Twisted Wrister Hockey on his channel a few days ago, and I kind of get the sense, and this is just me, but that we're going to use Duclair like a spark plug. Like whichever one of the top 3 lines needs a little bit of a oomph, a little bit of energy, a little bit of playmaking ability, we'll just slot him up there, whether it's for that game, that period, that shift. I really feel like that's how we're going to use him, because we've got such an embarrassment of riches at forward that there's no reason, and Q's not like this anyway. There's no reason to be like, these are the lines and that's it, and I don't care how anybody's playing. We've got these guys that can, like you just mentioned, everybody's already played with everybody pretty much with the exception of Lundell. You know what I mean? Coming in.
And Reinhart.
Right. And look, I mean, let's not leave out for Toronto, right? If Reinhart or Verhaeghe or Tippett or any of these wingers get into a little bit of slump, if Frankie gets hot, you slot him up there and is just fine.
Well, here's my thinking. Having Duclair on the top line, that's a speed line. Yeah. Because Verhaeghe is really fast. Barkov doesn't seem to be fast, but he does everything. He makes everything look easy.
Yeah,
that's your speed line. And then the reason why I had Huberdeau, Bennett, and Reinhart is because Huberdeau's the best passer in the league. And perfect setup man for for Reinhart. So again, I mean, Huberto, Bennett, and Reinhart could be a first line on another team.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah.
I think we have the best top six in the league.
Oh,
No doubt.
no doubt. And that's with, um, despite it's not even six, it's like out of the top nine, almost any of them can be in that top six as well. You know, the only question mark we have at all really is Lundell.
Right. So I have Lundell with Vetrano and Tippett.
Right.
And then I have Achari, Marchment, and Hornchuk. I mean,
Achari,
Hornquist.
Marchment, and Hornquist. Right. Yeah.
So,
And that's
and then
go ahead.
and then you got, the Datasenkos, the Lamicos, the Lutinarin,
And
what's his name?
Lombard too.
And Lombard.
If I leave Lombard out, I'm going
So-
to get hate, man.
So, I mean, obviously, those guys are pretty much squeezed out. Now, who's to say that there might, be a trade somewhere down the road? You just never know. But obviously, the guys that are not playing, I mean, God forbid someone goes down with an injury.
Right.
I don't see any room for, some of these guys. And that's a shame because I like Datasenko. I like Lombard, but,
And Heponiemi too, as well.
Eponiemi.
Right.
So I'm saying we have the best roster of forwards in the league. We really do.
Certainly the best we've ever had. I mean, and any most other years, we would have been counting on Lombard, Heponiemi, and Danisenko to fill in the spots, and then by the trade deadline, hoping to pick up some veteran because the kid wasn't really, making it out to be all the way he could. But now we're just in this position where, I mean, there's going to be guys that I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with the roster size. I know last year, was expanded. I'm sure they're going to do something this year in terms of being able to keep extra players on, like last season. But
I think it's going back to, to the way it was. Now, here's another thought, because we're all saying that Lundell is going to be, he's the real deal and blah, blah, blah. But let's just say he has, young rookie jitters and just is not doing it.
Right.
We could always slide Reinhart down to third center and then move Tippett up on the Huberto Bennett line.
Right. Well, we could do that. My thought actually, and I don't know how popular this one would be, but my thought was if Lundell struggles at center, to pull a Trocheck and put him at wing and just let Hornquist play 3C, but with Lundell there. So it's sort of just a depressurizing situation for him. I don't think that that's what's going to happen, but I would personally like to try that first before we take somebody like Reinhart and move him down.
Right.
Because
listen, I'm call me crazy, but I'd love to see Lundell play with Barkov, the two Finns. I mean,
you never know. And that's
obviously that's a lot of pressure on the kid, but look what he did playing with Liga, men's league.
Right.
And look what he did, at the World Juniors.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, as fans, we get it in our head one way, and then usually there's one or two moves at camp that everybody's like, "What? I didn't see that coming," and everybody kind of freaks out. And especially with Q, I'm pretty sure what Q does is he reads what the fans expect and tries to do a thing or two just to troll us because he's always doing something that just nobody saw coming, like Marchman on the first line. You know what I mean? I'm sure he stuck them there that long. Just the more they bitch, the more I'm going to keep them there. I could just see them.
You got to think that you got to think that he's pretty much has in his mind the opening night roster.
Absolutely.
And then, he's going to see what happens in training camp, and then make adjustments, once the season starts, obviously things will go the way we think they're going to go, and if not, he'll do his shuffle.
Yeah, he'll do stuff. Now, what do you got for the defensive pairs?
So for the defense, and I love the lefty-righty combo.
Yeah.
I don't think Forsling and Ekblad are going to happen, so I put it back to Ekblad and Uyghur,
Right.
Forsling and Gudis,
Yep.
and Montour.
And Montour.
And then I listed
there's like 8 guys.
Yeah, Kerstead, Navarro, Juleson, Connaughton. I would love.
Larson. Don't leave out Larson. Just it's like the forward group. It's like we've got
Brisky, whatever. But
I have
Brisky
too.
Yeah, I have a feeling, and I'm just for everybody watching, I think Q's going to give Kerstead a shot.
I would actually go for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know none of our played well. I wasn't happy with his play in the playoffs.
Either was I.
I think you give Kierstead a shot because you could put Notavar in there and you kind of know what you're going to get with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
If Kierstead,
and again, I like the left. I always prefer the lefty righty combo. Montour is a offensive minded defenseman.
Right.
Kersted's got the size. So
yeah.
Again, this is so when you guys are commenting on this video, I'm welcome to hearing alternative line combos. I mean, it's fun that we do this, but that's what I'm calling.
Yeah, no, so, I'll agree with you on the Kierstead thing. I liked his play. He very smooth, not out of position. He very, very responsible. You know what I mean? In terms of
don't forget, he walked right out of college,
right? Exactly,
and got on the ice,
right?
So, and he was, for the most part, he was, again, he made a couple of rookie mistakes, but for the most part, I thought he was solid.
Yeah, and look, he was solid enough to where we thought we were going into the Tampa Bay series. Okay, missing Ekblad. You know what I mean? We had managed to sell it to ourselves anyway that okay, these guys might be able to. But then that was, once Kucherov got out there in the power play and the real hockey started, it was a different story, unfortunately.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I would just be curious to see a Forsling Ekblad pairing and see what they do together.
See, but that the thing I would like that idea, but I'm not so sure about a Uyghur Gudis pairing. So then I think you'd have to have. Yeah,
well, that's why I went back to the Ekblad Uyghur combo because obviously they have played with each other and they have good chemistry together. And
it's kind of weird how it's flip flopped because. Like when Campbell was with Ekblad, I was like Campbell was the steady one, and Ekblad was the one that kind of was in and out. And now with Ekblad and Uyghur, Ekblad's the steady one, and Uyghur's the one that you kind of not sure if he's going to make the right move all the time. So I wouldn't want to put Uyghur with Gudis because you need that one guy that you can pretty much count on completely all the time, and they're good defensemen, but I could see that being a not so good pairing, you know what I mean, in terms of when
Forsling and
Gudis,
they've played together, and you also have to take into account that Uyghur has a lot of pressure lifted off him with Ekblad back. I think one of the things, I mean, he did a great job, but one of the things I noticed, and it's just natural, I think Uyghur thought he had to take it upon himself to run the defense.
Yeah, you actually watched him physically try to make some of those moves, the cutting into the towards the net moves and everything that Ekblad
the Ekblad moves.
He was literally trying to do some of that, and it just sent ripples down the defense the entire way. But look, I mean, that was his first real playoff, and then he gets thrown in there to okay, you're the number one, and not ready. We'll put it lightly. You know what I mean? But then, and also look, I mean, Tampa, let's face it. I mean, they get everybody back healthy, and it was clear that they had designed plays, specifically to what our defense and what our goaltenders were going to do on that power play. And they knew they did it exactly what they wanted to do. They knew they could get under our skin. We'd take stupid penalties, and then they'd put the puck in the back of the net with these design plays on the power play. And that was it. That was the entire difference. And
well, the difference was, not only taking stupid penalties, but getting goaded into taking stupid penalties.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why you had all of those scrums where the referees let Tampa get away with, murder.
Right.
Punches to the face, guys trying to rip helmets off. And, it's always the retaliatory move that gets the penalty. Slashing, those type of penalties, slashing, high sticking, especially in the offensive zone, those are totally unacceptable.
Oh, I know.
I mean, listen, if a guy's going in on a breakaway and you got to hook him, but guys ragging the puck out of the zone and you slash him or or you trip him, I mean, it's stupid.
No, yeah.
Anyway, again,
yeah,
past history.
Right.
Okay, so we got the forwards, we got the defense. Let's move to the power play.
Okay.
So what I have for the top unit is Barkov, Bennett, Reinhart, Hubie, and Ekblad.
Barkov, Bennett. Jeez, that's good. Barkov, Bennett, Hubie, Reinhart, and Ekblad.
I know people are going to say, what about Hornquist? You know what?
On the second power play.
On the second unit. But I you got a lot of talent.
That's
Bennett
so
and Reinhart up front with Hubie and Ekblad.
Right.
That's a powerful, no pun intended, powerful power play.
Yeah, that you keep them out there for a minute and a half. You know what I mean?
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
So on my second unit, I got Hornquist, Vetrano, Duclair, and then underneath I have Lundell. So again, Lundell's the unknown factor here.
Right.
So if Lundell does what we all think and hope he's going to do, I don't see any reason why he doesn't, center that second unit with Forsling and Uyghur.
Okay.
I want 2 D-men on the second unit.
So we're not, and this is coming. We're not looking for Tippett's shot on the power play anywhere.
Well, unless you take Vetrano out of the mix.
Well,
and I don't think he'd like that too much. But again, it all depends. Listen, I like Vetrano. People love Vetrano, but he's a streaky player.
Right.
He could get goals in 5 games straight and then go 8 games without a goal.
Yeah.
So we need consistency. So I know Tippett's your boy, but I don't have a problem with him being on the second unit,
second one. Yeah.
But I guess we'll have to see how the season unfolds.
I'd like to see him get some shots up there, some attempts up there. You know what I mean? If we have a 2-3 goal lead and we get a power play, give him some non-pressurized time to see what he can do with that shot and if he can handle the pressure of,
My biggest knock on Tippett is not shooting enough. He was looking to pass last year, and that's not his job. His job is to shoot.
Right. Yeah. No.
So maybe another season's gone, and maybe the coaches will talk to him and just say, "Look, you have the shot every time." I mean, we talked about this during the playoffs when we were texting. I'm like, look at that opportunity passed up.
Right.
As did a lot of the players, but
anyway. It is a mentality from, unfortunately, the head down, or the captain down, I should say, of I love Barkov, but we without that shoot first mentality at the top, you got to get it elsewhere. And Huberdeau is really not shoot first mentality, but this is where getting guys like Bennett and Reinhart in will help change things. And
Barkov was
And
Go ahead.
Duclair's shoot first mentality, but he's got to be shoot and hit the net first mentality. He's got to hit the
Listen,
damn net.
Barkov got a lot better last year with the shoot first.
Yeah, he did. I absolutely grant you that. He definitely did get better.
And it paid off.
Yeah. It's just a shame that Marchment and Duclair couldn't bury more of the opportunities that came off of that. But
yeah,
that's why we got Reinhart, and I think so. And then you had something for the PK too, right? You had the PK.
So the PK I love the Barkov for Verhaeghe combo, right. And then obviously Achari. Now I wrote Marchment.
Yeah,
I wrote Marchment down with Achari. So and then obviously the defense, but as far as the the pairings, I thought Wenberg was a good PK guy, but
right,
not here. So again, we'll see.
Well,
we'll see how that played.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Barkov or Higgy. I'm thinking of guys that we trust, and the issue there is I don't really trust Bennett to not take another stupid penalty, and I don't trust Vetrano to take another stupid penalty. Does Hornquist have enough speed to be on? Yeah, there's the shaking. Right, exactly. So by process of elimination is really where our PK is, more than guys that are really, really exceptional at the PK. So that's going to come down to goaltending. You know what I mean? We're going to need our goaltenders big time.
Well, just a comment on Hornquist, and this is just me being honest. He's one-dimensional.
Right.
At this point in his career, his job is being in front of the net for tip-ins and deflections and rebounds. And
right. Yeah,
he's not the fastest skater, and and it just this is going to be a very quick team.
Right,
our team is a fast team. So, as far as other combos on the PK, I don't know what Bennett did if he killed penalties. I don't know if Reinhart, I didn't follow these guys to know if they were good, PK guys. But we just segue into the goaltenders.
Sure, absolutely.
We put up 4 or 5 goals a night. Take the pressure off these two guys.
Look, when
and we can do it. We're laughing, but we have the guns to do it.
When we were like 20 games in, or we may have been 30 games in, whatever it was, somewhere in between 20 and 30 games. And Bobrovsky's goals against average was a full goal more, and his save percentage was like 30 points worse than Drieger's, but the record is exactly the same. It was like 11 and whatever. They both had like the exact same record. And so we can totally score goals regular season, right? It's like the Miami Dolphins of old. They could, no problem. They could score 45 points a game and win 14-2 every year with Dan Marino. As soon as they had to play defense in the playoffs, kaputs, they're out. It's over. So yeah, we can score a lot of goals and take that pressure off of them, but we've seen it come playoff time. It's going to be.
The running joke with Bobrovsky was 4-goal Bob.
Yeah.
But it was okay when we were scoring 5 and 6.
Right. Well, and a lot of the times that 4th goal was we were winning. We'd go into the 3rd period winning 4-2, and we'd win 5-4. You know what I mean? He'd let in those 2 late game goals, but we'd still win because we're scoring so much. So
we were either number 1 or in the top 3 in goals scored for a lot of the season. Obviously, that went way down when we lost Ekblad. And we also had, for a while, the number 1 power play.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, when we were talking to Billy, he was, every point that he made, the keys to success are what I had, and that is get off to a really hot start. And I made, I'm not predicting anything, but I said, 20 wins, 3 losses, and
Yeah,
2, overtime losses
right.
would be a hell of a start in the first 25 games.
Well,
Even 18 wins, but
yeah, yeah,
we need to
yeah. I mean,
start. We need to have first place
right.
throughout, through the first quarter of the season.
And that was something I
That will
talked
be
about.
that will be a good that will be good entrenchment
Right.
in the playoff. And then obviously, the most important thing to me is no major injuries.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean,
Especially on
we
defense.
can't afford to have what happened, because that just I mean, I told you when he went down, I said,
Right.
there goes the cup.
Yeah, no, I remember the text specifically, and we tried to talk ourselves out of that, but
Well, we made a valiant effort.
yeah, yeah, and you know,
We were in the 1-2 race, 1-2-3 race the
right,
whole season.
right, right.
Um, and who knows if we finished top and didn't get Tampa, but we did.
Well, remember we
I
were
think, and I will make this prediction right now. We
all
go
right,
head to head with Tampa next year. We're going to beat them, and beat them soundly.
all right, all right. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Heard-
And
I,
listen, like you said, you win one cup, then you win another cup.
right, right,
It wears on you,
right.
and
That
it's tough. It's tough getting that third one, but
well, yeah, because
um,
I mean, you saw Kucherov at the press conference. He says, what did he say? He says, "I tell you, if we win one, we're going to win two." He didn't say we're going to win three.
right.
So you mentally, I think, especially at the beginning of the season, there's going to be a certain percentage of checkout where we won our two cups and we're going to come out here and they probably just expect to make the playoffs and see what happens. I'm not hearing, the whole three-peat, it's not like Kansas City, the Chiefs quarterback has come out, previous and earlier in the season in the off season saying their goal is to go undefeated. Right. So it's like, guys, put the brakes on. I hope you lose week one. You know what I mean? And so
What I like about the team, and again, this is something that that Billy talked about, and Randy. The team is set up to be a contender for, well,
yeah,
let's just say at least 3 years.
at least three, right? Yeah,
You know,
at least three, and then well, there are some decisions that we're going to have to make. I mean, we're not going to be in as bad a shape as Washington was in terms of wanting to keep and pay Ovechkin until he's like 108 years old. So I'm sure that, but when Huberdeau goes to sign that contract, he is going to be 30. So you do have to keep an eye on that a little bit.
yeah,
But
but I got news for you. If he's got a ring,
well, yeah,
he's gonna. They'll work. I have full confidence in Zito and his team working the numbers out.
yeah,
We
yeah,
know, we know
absolutely.
that they're gonna have to dump.
Yeah,
The obvious thing is Bob, and I don't know how they're gonna do that, but
no, I mean, even
we're taking a big hit. We're taking that $5.4 million hit for Yandel
for
next year.
for next year,
So
right,
I personally don't see Achari and Vetrano being with us after this year.
right.
Um,
No,
or
you got.
Hornquist.
Oh yeah, Hornquist. This is his last year of the contract anyway, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that this is his
I don't
last.
know. But listen, we got rid of who we needed to get rid of.
Right. Yeah. No. And
Um,
that's the case. That's the key. There is having gotten out of the Matheson deal now with Hornquist.
that was for
It, we're gonna.
everybody. Everybody would agree that was the
Yeah.
it was his first move, but that was his best move.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's when we all.
Just getting rid of Matheson was a good thing, and then obviously getting Hornquist was
Yeah, it was like,
bonus.
wait a minute, we got something for him. You know what I mean? And then it's Hornquist. It's like, how did you do that, man? Because that's one of those things where it's like, well, that's why I tell people on Twitter, man, let all the ideas get out there. There's no stupid ideas, because if you would have gone on Twitter and said Matheson for Hornquist, you would have been laughed off of the platform, called every name in the book. because nobody in their right mind would, yeah, right, okay, yeah, Matheson in 01 for Hornquist. I mean, they would have said there's no way they're going to just trade those contracts and those players with nothing else. And
Right.
sure enough,
Well, we
whatever.
gave up Sevier, which was no great loss.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
yeah,
I still think it was a good move getting rid of Trocheck.
right,
Um,
right, right, right.
in addition to, the reasons why I did not like him, he was a player with a lot of potential. And again, who knows what happened to him, but
Right,
he became a very selfish player, who took stupid penalties and whined at the ref. Who knows what went on in the locker room,
right,
but sometimes you get a player. Look at Evander Kane, poison in the dressing room.
right, 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 right,
So
right.
right now, and I love what Billy said. The whole, the success of the '96 team was the cohesiveness
Right, the playing for
and
each other.
everybody playing for each other. I mean, how many interviews do you see after a team wins the cup or the NFL or the NBA? It's just a major. We got a great bunch of guys.
Right,
That's like the
right, right.
first thing every player said. I love these guys,
Exactly.
and that's the key. It's called team.
Yeah.
I should say it's not called team for nothing.
In fact,
You
in
know,
my version of Kucherov's press conference, that's exactly what I said. Is I love these guys.
right?
So even there.
So that's why. I mean, most of the guys played with each other last year.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was their first year. Now it's a new season. Now we add Reinhart, who says he's played with a bunch of guys. In fact, I saw a picture on Twitter this morning of Duclair and Reinhart. Like I think they might have been on the same line, and
Right.
maybe it was the juniors, or I
Okay.
don't know,
Okay.
but
Okay.
whatever.
Right.
So you know, so that staying healthy, and then the defense contributing more to the offense.
Yeah. Yeah. Smartly.
Not just Ekblad and Uyghur. I think Forsling's got the potential.
And Montour.
Montour
Right.
obviously has the potential. Having a top 3 power play,
Yep.
having a top 5 penalty kill. Yeah, there's areas of improvement. I mean, the first unit power play should just go nuts.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that can't be the best power play. Again, just what I see on paper.
And that's where the forward depth comes into play, because we, like I said, that 5, just put them out there the whole, the first minute and a half, and then we've got competent, third liners that can go out there and eat some of that time while those top players get a rest. So that comes in handy, believe me, you know what I mean? Because with that 5, I mean, just why take, I mean, Tampa was doing that. Tampa was leaving, their guys out there, minute 15 and minute 30. And then the second power play was almost an afterthought,
Yeah.
So,
So
all
I
right,
guess
bud.
last, as far as the roster, we just can't go without mentioning the goalie situation.
Right, right.
And we've been talking about how many games, nights. I would love Bob, okay, to basically kill it, stick his middle finger up to everybody, and say, I read your tweets. Now go f off. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Oh man,
But
I don't know.
I'd love to see Bob have a Vezina Trophy year.
Well, here's my thing. Um, certainly I'd be okay with that, although it would create some Spencer Knight financial question problem issues later on down the road, but that's a different story. The thing that takes away any hope that I have that he's going to do that is he had 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5, and then 6, and then 7, and then the last season was the 8th attempt at the postseason for Bob.
Right.
And with the
I'm,
exception of that one series against Tampa,
yeah.
to say he's been awful is an insult
No,
to awful.
Listen, I agree with you. I really think Spencer Knight is going to be the number one goalie, whether it happens this year or not.
Well, that my concern is with Bob having the Vezina years. If you look at his playoff stats, the years he's won the Vezina are horrible. So my concern with him having a Vezina year is then we don't get Knight in the playoffs and we're out in the first round again. Because to me,
that's where obviously we have to win it in the regular season,
right?
But you and I are 100% in agreement that Knight's the playoff goalie.
Yeah. I mean, that
just,
kid is
again, it's going to be a question of, Q benching a $10 million guy.
Yeah.
And not, basically saying, F his salary.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times we said that about Yandel?
Right. Exactly.
That they were playing Yandel, not only for the streak, but the fact that the guy was making so much money and they want to bench him. But
right.
I think Q's smart enough at this point in time. He
showed it in the playoffs. He showed it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The thing that gives me the biggest hope is that even after Knight, he won game 5. Q could have said, all right, we've got things settled down. Let's go back to Bob or Drieger. But he didn't. He said, to hell with it. I'm just going to ride this kid.
Right.
So that's what gives me hope that he's not going to be too wiffle-waffly about that. You know what I mean?
Well, now that Drieger's out of the picture, now he doesn't have to worry. And, again, go back to the Billy interview where Billy said, you're not going to win the cup with 3 goalies. You have to have that one goalie.
Yep. Absolutely.
And as far as I'm concerned, Knight's it.
Yeah.
He impressed me that much.
Yeah, he was just cool as a cucumber. So
coming into, I mean, the 4 games that he played in the regular season, okay, we were in the playoff race. They were important games, and he played really good. But to put that kid in that situation, against a powerhouse like Tampa, Stanley Cup champs, I mean, he more than held his own.
Yeah, and if we would have gave him some goal support in game 6, who knows what happens? But Vasilevsky, I mean, that's the other thing is, but Vasilevsky, I mean, he was when he said no goals, there was just no goals. There was just no matter what, no matter what. So So I'm gonna let you go here real quick, but the last thing I'll say is because you kind of brought up with Yandel even. I'm thinking, do you think maybe once every 3 games it would Yandel get beat on a breakaway and then it would be a breakaway goal in the 5-hole with Bob? You think that's once every 3 games? I'm trying to determine how many goals won't happen from that one thing of Yandel getting beat and not being able to turn around and catch the guy, and then Bob getting beaten on a breakaway. Just that one thing. Once every 3 games? Is that too much? Do you think? I know I'm serious. Am I exaggerating?
Listen, he should have been pulled off that power play in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, just boggles my mind.
I know, like I was screaming for Tippett, you were screaming for Forsling on the power play. It was the same thing, and I would have liked it.
You still need to have at least one defenseman.
Yeah. So,
and, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Zito has managed to do exactly what he needed to do in the offseason, and really,
he's done his job.
Yep.
Now, Q and Q's got a staff.
Right.
And it's not he makes the final decisions, but I know he's got to be relying on, his coaching staff for their input.
Right. Absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to training camp. Oh, all right. So I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm still working on some high profile guests. it's not the easiest thing to do because of, schedules. But there are probably, I'd say, as we get closer to the season, training camp, my ultimate goal is to get a player to join us. So I'm working on that, but, nothing's for sure.
Right. Stay tuned.
And I guess if you guys just keep tuning in and,
Yep.
subscribe and hit that notification button, as soon as it's
As soon-
signed and sealed that we
Right.
know we're getting that person,
Exactly. As soon as we know, you'll know.
we'll let you know.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
anyway,
Yep.
always have fun doing these. I just thought, once the Reinhart thing was done, I just felt, maybe it'd be fun to just, do a
Yeah.
recap.
No.
So,
This was a good idea. With nothing else going on every day, I'm like, when am I going to make a video about?
I mean, obviously, we're going to have comments on there with maybe,
Oh yeah.
totally different, combos, but
Well, you have to understand. I mean, first of all, one bad Steve is immediately going to throw me under the bus for not sticking up for you, not putting Noah Tippett in the top 6. I mean, that comment is going to be there within 5 minutes of the upload of the video. So, but that's okay. Stu is allowed to not put Tippett in the top. He's the only one allowed to not put Tippett in the top 6. Anybody else, not so much.
Well, I think I have a pretty good track record when it comes to the things I see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot, there's a lot more to, having a good shot.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. I mean, I like Tippett, but I like the guys above him better.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And like I said, I think Duclair is going to be that rotating guy. Just because I think he's got the skill set, he can fit in with anybody. You know what I mean? Unless
don't be surprised to see, that Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Duclair top line.
Hey, look, if Duclair finds his scoring touch, I don't care what line he's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be good.
Right.
He came on, he came on stronger as the season, progressed.
Right.
But I'd like to see him come out of the, game one and
he's got to stay healthy too.
Yeah, that again, to me, that's always the biggest factor in a team's success.
Right. And that contributed to why he got shuffled around so much, because he'd miss a few games and then Q, every time he'd come back, Q would kind of try to find a spot for him. And combine that with his love for Mason Marchment up there with Barkov, and it got confusing for a little while there. So
I'm really anxious to see what Lindell can do.
Yeah.
I've watched, there's plenty of videos on YouTube, and I've just watched a lot of them. And
that's what
the kid looks like the real deal. It's just
that is
putting
what I've
him
heard. Yep.
putting him with the right, with the right two guys.
Right.
So
yep. All right, bud.
Again, I told you there would be, it would be great to have Lundell, Lamico, and Heponiemi, the old Finn line.
Oh, geez.
That's not.
Yeah, no, that's maybe in a few years when we've had to clear out some space. But all right, bud. I appreciate you doing this. This was good. Thanks for getting me up and moving so early. I'll actually have a video up by noon instead of just me being up by noon.
All right, cool.
Till
next time. If something happens where, we'll do another one.
Well, I guess the only last thing now that could possibly happen is the Barkov extension. That's going to be Pantherland's next thing. That's what's coming. As soon as that's it. The Reinhart deal is going to get about 24 hours, and they're like, "Where's Barkov?" And that's going to be until he signs. You know what I mean?
And I'm not worried about that at all.
No, not at all. All right, bud.
Yeah.
All right, we'll chat again soon.
All right, buddy. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye.